Woohoo! We're live, we're live, we're live. Hi! How you doing? Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you for joining. I'm super excited. I'm going to start in like 5 minutes. I'm just giving a few people time to join us. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Hi. Hi, Modupe. How you doing? Are you people panicking? You people should not panic. Oh, I can imagine everybody's like, oh my God, what's going on? How are we going to do this? Hi, everyone. Sorry, I need to wear my glasses. Signs of old age. Doopsy, how you doing? Hello, everyone. So I'm going to start in like 5 minutes. I'm going to give everyone like 5 minutes to join us. So hopefully by then we have more people joining. But I'm going to start in 5 minutes. But you know what? While I'm waiting, if you have any questions that you want me to answer, if you can please pop them on the screen, that would be great. I'll be happy to look at them. So just send me any question you have. Just put it on the chat. Hello, Abisola. Hi. I'm here. I'm just giving everybody a few more minutes and then we start. We're giving them 2 more minutes and then we kick things off, right? We're not going to waste time. So if you have any questions, if you have any things you want to find out more about, please let me know so I can address them as I talk. Hey Mo, how you doing? Hello Moji. I don't know what this thing is. Okay. So we're gonna start in 1 more minute and we're ready to go. Hi sweetie, how you doing? So I think I feel like we're good to go. I feel like we're good to go. So I think let me start. Let's start first with the coronavirus. I think that's really the most topical thing, and why was it such an issue, and why did it create this sort of negative wave in the market? So the first thing is that the coronavirus started out in China, and China had to shut down a lot of its industries because they wanted to contain the virus. And China's, and because of that shutting down, it affected the countries that China does business with. So China is responsible for approximately about 15 to 25% of total oil in terms of their demand. They represent about 25% of total demand for oil in the world. So it means that pretty much anytime China's demand for oil reduces, it has a ripple effect on the on the supply and the price of oil. Now, given that the industries were shut down, it meant that the demand for oil from China shrunk significantly. Now, so what happens when the demand shrinks? It means that there's excess supply. Now, because of the excess supply from China, it meant that, because of the reduced demand from China, there was excess supply of oil generally in the world. Now, what we then realized was when there's oversupply, what happens is prices tend to reduce, prices tend to decline. So we saw the oil price start wobbling, its price started to wobble, and it wobbled from about 57 levels, it was wobbling to about 53. Now, so as it kept on wobbling, the OPEC decided, okay, let's have a conversation and let's see how we can manage this oversupply. Usually when there's oversupply, you want to reduce demand, because when you reduce demand, price will tend to go up or at least remain stable. Unfortunately, when they had the meeting, Russia and Saudi Arabia could not agree. And because of that disagreement, what we then saw was that there was an impact immediately on oil price. Now, this happened last week. And so what we then saw was that, Saudi Arabia reduced the price of oil on their end. They gave a discount to its buyers. And Russia said, you know what, I actually have enough capacity to meet up with a low oil price regime for a while. And on the basis of that, oil price started to tank. So you then wonder, okay, so well, what's all this going on? How is this affecting global markets? Why is the entire, global stock market declining? What's going on with that? You have to understand that China has trade partners within and outside of China. And so, for example, let me take Apple, for example. Apple has already announced that its latest iPhone release date is likely to be delayed. Why is that so? Because some of the components which are being manufactured by China are going to miss the deadline. And so it's going to impact the Apple product launch date. And if it impacts the Apple product launch date, it would then mean that Apple would not be able to meet its demand, will not be able to meet its customer expectation for the year. So what we're going to likely see is that it will affect Apple's numbers for 2020. And if Apple's numbers are affected in 2020, it means that, the projections for profit, for loss, and all those things will be impacted. So that's why you saw global markets react harshly, because a lot of global markets have interwoven trade relations with China. So because of the companies that are listed there. So you ended up seeing a lot of the stock markets decline very sharply, because it also meant that China wasn't trading as much, because again, they also have trade relationship with other countries. So it pretty much was like a domino effect. So you saw last week, you saw the global markets, have a massively bad performance. The S&P was down about 5%, the FTSE was down, even China, the Asian markets were also down. So invariably, it was just a negative experience all around. That is purely from coronavirus. Now, the next day, remember I mentioned that that Russia and Saudi Arabia were not, we're having a tough time agreeing on price. So what that did again further was to put further pressure on an already fragile global economy. So we saw oil price move sharply down to about $33. As at today, oil price is down to about $31. And you have to understand that oil is also used as some sort of, commodities are also used as some sort of investment tools. And also businesses, it's pretty much a very linked market. For example, airlines have already entered into agreements to purchase crude, oil at some price in the, via features, and so they're going to be affected by the high price they've negotiated. And you also have to understand that other companies who pretty much have trade relations with China or have crude oil linked revenue would also be impacted negatively by the downturn in the oil price. Now brings me to Nigeria. Why is Nigeria impacted? Well, Nigeria is what we call a monoproduct economy. That means the one product economy. Why do I say so? Exactly. Moji is saying that I should tell her about it. Travel is going to have a problem. So I'm going to talk about the industries that will be affected in the next couple of days, in the next couple of minutes rather. So how does this affect Nigeria? Now, how it affects Nigeria is that we're a monoproduct economy, means that most of our income, so let's take Nigeria as a company, most of our income comes from one product, which is oil, crude oil. Now, essentially, we had crude oil pegged. We had put a budget out and said our budget for crude oil is going to be our budget for crude oil, our price for crude oil is going to be at $57. That's what we pegged our price at in our budget. Now, given the way the market has moved sharply, I've told you about what oil price is now, is about $31. It means that our forecast is significantly going to be, we will have a significant difference in our forecast and the actual price of oil. We had a budget of 57, the price is at 31. That means $26 is, I mean, we're going to have to find a way to augment $26 that we're not meeting. But again, remember I said we're a monoproduct economy, so it means that to a large extent, all the other incomes we're generating is not going to be enough to account for that $26 shortfall. Now, it technically also means that our income is going to shrink significantly. I don't know if anyone saw the papers this morning. The minister, the MD of NNPC mentioned that Nigeria had about 50 cargoes of crude oil that they are yet to sell. I mean, pretty much they are ready, but they are unable to sell it. So it means that already it's impacting our income significantly. Now, how does this all feed into effects? I'm getting there. So let's take Nigeria has a general a reserve account. Let's take that reserve account as our bank account. Imagine we're a company, we have a bank account. Now, it means that if I had planned to sell 2 million barrels of oil per day at $57, I was expecting roughly about $110 million in my account every day. Maybe about $120 million in my account every day. Now that amount I was expecting, it's going to reduce to about, almost half because of where the oil price is trading. It means that invariably I am not earning as much as I had planned to earn. So I'm not earning enough compared to what I had budgeted to earn. Because remember I said our budget was $57, but I am not earning enough. Now, what happens when you're not earning enough of your income? What should you do? You should cut back, right? Your spending should cut back. And let's take it in the context of Nigeria now. It means that certain things that we're able to do before with our reserves are going to likely be impeded because of this. Why are people then panicking about the dollar? Because our main way of earning dollar income is via oil, and that income that we're anticipating has reduced by half. People are anticipating that as a country, we would have to, the CBN may have no choice but to, allow the exchange rate to shift from where it's currently trading at. Now, take that into context when you think about the fact that in the last 6 months, the interest rates on deposits have declined sharply. We were doing 13–14% last year. As at November, December, the interest rates moved down to about 9–10. As at January, February, it went down to about 6.5. As at today, I think it's about 5.5%. So and then take also the fact that inflation is at 12%. So it means that people have looked at the landscape and they're saying to themselves, well, if I put my money in treasury bills, I would probably just get 5.5–6%. Inflation is at 12%. Oil price has gone down to about $31–33. It means that, if I have a lot of money, a lot of Naira, or what we call long Naira, I have a lot of Naira cash or Naira assets, it means that I am going to be more susceptible to exchange rate shocks. So one of the reasons, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why people are now rushing towards dollar. One of the reasons why they're rushing towards dollar now is because, one, they are concerned about the likely devaluation of the currency. That's the first point. The second point is they are speculating that currency will devalue, and because of that, they want to change their money into dollars so that if that happens, they will sell back and be able to make some money. Thirdly, some people actually have genuine liabilities in dollars that they were hoping to fund. But because of this, but in the action of a devaluation of the currency, they may not be able to fund those. So because of that, they are quickly changing their money into dollars. Fourthly, it could just be because people have looked at the economic landscape and have decided that they're not comfortable holding Naira and they'd rather be in dollars. Now, let's take the first thing about the likely devaluation of the currency. Is the Central Bank of Nigeria, are they likely to devalue the currency? I cannot tell you that the answer is yes or no. What I can tell you is what the Central Bank of Nigeria has told us. They have said that they will hold the current exchange rate as long as the reserves remain above $30 billion. Currently, reserves are hovering at about $35 billion. So it means that there is a $5 billion buffer that central bank is able to play with to accommodate demand. That's the first thing. Also, the central bank has already committed. They are able to commit to funding legitimate FX transactions. So I don't know what you told. I think that then the question is, what do you need dollars for? I remember I said people have genuine needs in dollars. Now, if you have a genuine dollar need for school fees, remember I'm saying that you can talk to your bank, but I'm going to give you some things that are allowable. Genuine dollar requirement for school fees, for even mortgages abroad, for health bills abroad, even for services. So if you are paying for tech services, anything that's allowable by a central bank, you are allowed to access dollars at the official rate. So if you're panicking for any of those reasons, please do not panic, because as long as the central bank is able to meet your demand, you are able to get money from them via the official means at the official rate of 360, depending on what the ironing window is doing. That's what the central bank has said. Now, if your needs are outside of the central bank needs, you may then have no other option but to get to the black market. So let's talk about the black market and why this panic has started. And I mentioned to you, I already said that the panic started because of the factors I mentioned. One, falling oil prices. Two, our budget versus our the actual reality and the income that we're likely making. Three, the fact that the coronavirus is causing havoc around the world, around global economies. China and Italy is shut down. US has announced that it's shutting down entry to some European countries. So pretty much there is a shutdown. Now, because of all those factors, people are being very cautious. Now, so we've seen rates shoot up between yesterday and today by about almost 10%. As at yesterday evening, last rate I got was 371. As at this morning, I got a rate of about 400 or 405. As at end of business today, people are saying 380, 405. Now, a lot of this is based on panic sentiments. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of it is based on panic sentiments. Why do I say so? Because if you have a genuine need, you can keep your money in Naira and you get your needs met by CBN. But if it is that you just want to try and hedge your portfolio, then unfortunately you're going to have to resort to the black market rates. And that is what is going on currently. Now, I'm sure you're asking me, so Biola, you've said all these wonderful things, or you said all this, it sounds like a lot of doom and gloom. It does sound like a lot of doom and gloom because we're in for a bumpy ride. We do not know, for one, how long the coronavirus impact will continue. In my opinion, I read a report by McKinsey, and it seems like they have a Q3, Q4 timeline for when the coronavirus is likely to sort of for when the economy, the global economy, will be kickstarted. For the coronavirus. So Q3, Q4. That's what they've said. Now, given that some countries are just having their own bout of coronavirus issues, it may, hopefully doesn't extend beyond Q3, Q4, but the likelihood that it will extend to Q3, Q4 is there. So guys, the first thing I'm going to say is, number one, we're in for a bumpy ride. We're looking at least Q3, Q4 timeline for the coronavirus to be fully resolved. It's a tough haul. And that's the first thing. So we're in for a bumpy ride. Secondly, we're going to see a lot of disruptions in certain industries. The global stock markets are going to continue to move sharply. They will recover at some point, but I think a lot of people are panicking, and because of the panic, global markets are going to likely, decline sharply. So we're also looking at a declining stock market regime, stock market period. So you're going to see that Nigeria has already dropped sharply. Yesterday we're down by about 2%, about 4%. Today we're probably down roughly about the same amount. So it's definitely tough. It's going to be tough for Nigeria as well as global market. So Nigeria is not immune from this, guys. We're very much going to be really impacted negatively by this whole situation that we're facing. That's one. So global markets, stock markets in the world are going to be impacted. Now, number three, certain industries will also be impacted. The aviation industry, I think Moji already alluded to that, is going to be grossly impacted. We've already seen that happening. Flights are going for as low as $7. Nobody wants to die. Nobody is traveling. Tourism, aviation, you're going to see terrible numbers coming from those companies this year. We're going to see travel destinations, interest reduced sharply. Nigerians are normally travel for summer. You see a lot of people are going to be very, very loath to travel during summer holidays because everybody wants to protect themselves. You're going to see all that cut across the world. So travel industry is going to be significantly impacted. And not only that, as travel is impacted, even retailers will be impacted. Nobody's going to be shopping or be going out if the environment is not safe. So you see a drop in consumer spending as well. So consumer spending would only focus on essentials. So things that are not essential food items, essential things for living, you will see demand drop sharply for them. So things like luxury products may see a decline in demand because, again, who is going? I mean, if you buy a luxury item, yes, you can buy a luxury item, but where are you wearing it to? Because you can't travel on holiday. A lot of things are going to be impacted. Trade partnerships would also be impacted. People that had already promised you certain trade opportunities, that's the fourth thing. Certain trade opportunities, they'll also be impacted because guess what? If you had a plan to maybe buy some products from someone in Turkey and Turkey is being shut down because of Corona, I mean, nothing is wrong with Turkey, but I'm just giving as an example. Nothing is being, and factories in Turkey are being shut down. It means that your demand, your output that you're expecting is going to be pushed back significantly. Now, those are some of the things that you're going to likely see. Now, how does it affect you as an investor? Remember, I will talk about investor, I'll talk about businesses, and I'll talk about, what we should do going forward. Manufacturing sector, absolutely. Your raw materials will be impacted. I'm going to talk about how manufacturing sector will also be impacted significantly because guess what? Your raw materials that you're buying from China, I was in the market on Monday and I heard that things like washing up liquids, the chemicals that they use for them, have not been available. So there's been some sort of, I don't want to say scarcity, but essentially they're not producing at optimal capacity because they don't have enough raw materials to produce. So that's the reality. Manufacturing industry are going to have problems. Some may have to slow down on production. They may have to lay off some casual workers. There will be certain ripple effect. It may not be as grave, but definitely we'll begin to see some of the impact of some of these of coronavirus and global factors trickling into our economy. Now, as an investor, what can you do? Not to sound like a broken record, but honestly, I remember when I had this, I had my Insta Live, I think late in middle of February, and I mentioned that people should diversify their portfolio. I hope people listen to me, because I knew that at some point in time, I didn't even know about coronavirus then, but I did know that at some point in time, the Naira was going to be under pressure, because already there were some signals on the wall, particularly the oil price, that meant that the Naira would be under pressure. That was why I kept on saying, diversify your portfolio and have dollar investments. If you have dollar, if your portfolio is diversified and you have dollar investments, clap for yourself. I'm proud of you. Well done. Thank you for listening to me, because that would have saved you a lot of grief at this point in time. Now, if your portfolio is not diversified, well, I had a call, Miss that's Emmy. I had a call and I said that people should diversify their portfolio and take different risks and keep some money in dollars. I did mention that. Will rates come back down? I'll talk about whether rates come back down. We'll talk about that. Will rates come back down? I'll talk about that. Now, so what can we do now? So I would say the first thing, if you're an investor and you didn't invest and you didn't do any FX instrument and you have Naira, don't panic. It's too late, guys. I'm sorry to tell you that, but honestly, it's too late. Anything you're going to buy now, you're going to make other people rich. You're going to make other people rich, because guess what? People are going to be, I want to use the word shafting. They're going to shaft you because of your greed or your desire, because of your desire to buy, and because of their greed to sell to you at a high price. And I can't call it greed. Let me call it opportunistic nature. They would want to make money from you significantly, so they would sell to you at a ridiculous price. So if you want to buy dollars and they'll be offering you things like 405, 410 or something thoroughly ridiculous, and you're going to just make them rich for nothing. So at this point, I don't think there's any point buying. If you didn't buy yesterday, if you didn't buy last week, just stay where you are and just keep calm. There's nothing you can do about it. Just stay where you are. Don't buy at all. I'm going to advise you, do not buy. If you have bought dollars already, fantastic. Well done. I'm proud of you. Don't just keep it in cash, because what I also learned is that the central bank, not the central bank, banks are reducing the volume of transfer that any account holder can do. What I would advise you to do is, if you have dollars, find a dollar instrument or a foreign exchange instrument to invest in. A couple of organizations that have them. If you check with asset managers, I don't want to mention any brands, but there are a couple of asset managers that have. So you talk to your asset managers, they'll be able to give you dollar denominated assets that you can invest in. So do not keep your dollar under your bed, please, guys. Don't keep your dollar under your bed. Don't just leave it in the bank doing nothing. Go and find an asset management firm that can take your dollars. You can have as much as yeah, exactly. You can have as much as, if you have as much as $5,000, you can invest in any dollar denominated assets, at least for two. I know two asset managers that can accept those money. So let me know if you're having any problem. Send me a DM. I will send you some names. I just don't want to mention any names on the chart. So that's the reality. You can still invest. Now, the second thing I'm going to mention as an opportunity for you, I know you're going to be like, oh, Biola, I don't want to do this. I'm afraid. The second opportunity you're going to have is the stock market. Hang on, calm down. Don't worry. I'm here with you. Now, I said the stock market because some stocks are going to be trading at significant year lows. I don't want to mention the names of the asset managers, so just send me a DM, I'll mention them to you. Some stocks are going to be trading at significant year lows. They're going to be trading globally and locally as well. So some global stocks, like, yes, I love what Money Stewards have said, that some stocks are even lower than 2018, or they drop sharper than 2018. Some stocks are going to be lower than you've ever seen them before. I promise you, they're going to be low. I told you guys last week that I bought some stocks. I bought some stocks last week. I chopped in. I bought more yesterday. I chopped in. I didn't even buy today. I'm just staying away today. I think I'm humble. But I promise you that if the stock market goes down again between tomorrow and Monday, I will buy more. I'm going to tell you why. You see, you have to understand that with the stock market, if your view, exactly, Bumi, opportunity, you have to be opportunistic. Opportunity is only available for those that have cash. So if you have cash, your cash is king, and you must use it to your advantage. If all you do, and particularly if you're already in Naira and you're not in dollars, you're already in Naira, just sit tight. If you buy, like, let me take an example of two stocks. If you buy, Zenith Bank traded closed at 10.1 today, something like that. Let me just check and be sure. I think it closed at 10.1 today. If all you do, guys, is buy Zenith Bank today at 10 point, sorry, let me just check. It closed at 10.85. If tomorrow Zenith Bank drops by another 10%, I mean it goes to about 9 Naira. It means that you're buying Zenith Bank at 9 Naira, even if, right, you hold it for 1 year. Because remember, fundamentally, there's nothing wrong. People are just panic selling. There's nothing wrong. People are definitely panic selling. Exactly, money stewards. Exactly, more. Coronavirus is the reason why we're in this situation, and it would pass. It's going to end by Q3, Q4. So even if all you do is buy Zenith Bank at 9 Naira 80 kobo tomorrow, and you hold it till September, and it gets to 15 Naira, you've made at least, okay, you've made at least 6 Naira. Remember, Zenith Bank reached as high as 22 Naira this year. You don't forget. Let's be mindful. It traded at 22 Naira this year. GTP went as high as 32 or 34 Naira this year. Okay. Now, it's trading right now at 18.1. So even if it drops tomorrow by 1 Naira 80 kobo, right? You buy it tomorrow, you're still going to make money. You're still going to make your money. Also, for a stock like GTB, they're marking it down for dividend, I think, on Monday. If you buy it today, you're likely going to, tomorrow, you will get dividend next week. So, guys, it is very easy to be panicked and be short-sighted. You can't afford to be. You have to think like an investor that takes risk. You have to be a risk taker. You cannot afford to panic. Don't panic, guys. There's nothing. We've seen this before. I've seen this in 2008. I've seen this in 2014, 15. Guys, 2008 was worse. 2008, the market was down every day for like 3 weeks. I promise you, it was down. It was a global meltdown. It was down every single day. We came out of it. Nothing lasts forever. But however, opportunities are available for the taking, and you must take them. I've given you those 2 stocks and the reason why I gave you those 2 stocks is because, and I'm going to explain why. And I can give you more stocks, but I'm not here to give you stock lesson advice. I gave you those stocks because those stocks, from my history and from my review of those 2 companies, they are 2 of the most defensive stocks on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. No matter how bad the market moves, they always rebound, and when they rebound quite swiftly. So at the very minimum, if you hold them from 24 to for 12 to 24 months, you are not likely to lose money. Exactly as Mo said, buy when people are panicking. So when people are optimistic, do not run away when people are panicking. Buy. If you can buy between now and Monday, if you have some money you can afford to let go of, buy. If it doesn't work out, because I say, Bella, you didn't work out 6 months time, I'm still down. Then the bank is down to 1 Naira, you lied to me, and I'll hold my hand up and say I lied. But guys, the little I know, and from my, no, not the little I know, I'm 15 years experience that I have, I promise you, nothing lasts forever. The markets will always rebound. Once things are too cheap, people are going to come in, and you will miss out on the drop. You will definitely miss out on the drop. So look for opportunities in the equities market. The third area I'll say you should look for opportunities in is in property. Now, property is an area where in Nigeria you don't see a lot of some of the upsides that you can get in property. But let me tell you guys, in this environment now, people are looking to sell houses. If you are cash rich and you're looking to buy a house at this time, make some ridiculous offers. You may get some good deals. That's the first one I'll say. Secondly, if you have any opportunity to invest internationally, so maybe in the UK or in the US, you may likely see people unable to, you may likely get deals on foreclosures. Do not miss out on those. Look for opportunities globally that you can invest in. So foreclosures in the UK, in the US, I think the US has more foreclosures, but honestly, if anyone offers you a foreclosure deal, jump at it. There is money to be made in those things. And I'm going to tell you why. Why is there likely to be foreclosures? Because remember, when economic downturns happen, some people will win massively and some will lose massively. If you, for example, work in a manufacturing company, I didn't say they will. They may lay off staff if the trend persists. And if the trend does persist, it means that some people will be able to meet up with their obligations. 1, 2, businesses will scale back on business development. And when they scale back on business development, it would mean that, some people are going to experience job losses. So because of that, there will be opportunities for you to buy properties at less than market value. So look for those opportunities. You don't have to be siloed about it. You can buy with a group. So this is the time where you want to come together with the strength in numbers. Bring your friends together, pull your friends together, come together and buy and look for assets that are cheap, that are, no, let me not use the word cheap, that have lost value significantly, but are still valuable, and buy them. Remember, the horizon for these investments is 12 to 24 months. These are not investments that you enter into for 6 months and you say, no, my money hasn't doubled. That is not the kind of investment. We're talking about opportunistic investments that you can make significant amounts of money from. And the horizon is going to be about 12 to 24 months. So I think you should definitely consider those things I've mentioned to you. Now, that's from an investor point of view. What else can you do as an investor? Look for alternative investments. Businesses may be in good businesses. I'm going to be very emphatic here. Good businesses, particularly business that supports everyday products. So anybody that is in the business of food, restaurants, people that sell food or buy food and goods and or buy food products to sell. If they need cash, invest in them, because guess what? Because of the changes in the currency and in manufacturing and generally, you know, the economic landscape, people are going to be eating more. They're going to be eating a lot more. They're going to be focusing on the things that they need. They're not going to try too hard to do, you know, to do anything fancy. So if there are businesses that are looking for capital or looking for short-term funding, provide them that funding, because guess what, guys? You can make some money off of that. You can charge them a decent rate. Again, these are things that you will do by being very careful. But me, I totally agree with you. Pull resources together. Do checks and balances. I was about to say, do your checks and balances on the businesses that you invest in, who you're investing in, so that nobody takes your money and uses it for other things. So be very careful. But those are opportunities that you can definitely take advantage of. Now, so I think I've mentioned all the key income classes that you should focus on. I think that you should not be afraid to take any risk at this point. And I'm not mentioning. You notice I did not mention treasury bills. There's no need, guys. There's just no need. Treasury bills are at 5.5%, 6%. Inflation is at 12%. Let's forget about that. And I'm going to tell you why. Cryptocurrency, if you understand it, it's not an area. It's not my area of strength. I'm not very strong in cryptocurrency, but if you do understand it, by all means, please take a risk. One of the things I always say with investment is invest in what you understand. Right now, with all the global volatility we're seeing, this is not the time to invest in things that you don't understand. Be very, guys, I'm going to say this to you, be very, very careful in what you invest your money in. This is not the time to try experimental investments. You can try some, but only allocate about 10% of your portfolio to experimental investments. Don't put a lot of your money in those assets. Be very careful, guys. I'm going to warn. So that's on the investment side. That's what I'm going to advise that people do. Now, in terms of businesses, what should businesses do? I would suggest the first thing I'll tell the businesses are businesses, get ready. It's going to be a bumpy. Yes, Toby, I think Toblaski, I've seen your question. Absolutely correct. I would look to invest in global markets as well. So in those global markets, what I would go for defensive stocks. When I say defensive, I would look for stocks that rebound quite nicely. So I don't follow global stocks, but I'm going to say let me just give a run of the mill of what kind of stock I would likely invest in. If, for example, let me give an example. I will pick a stock that is an opposite industry to oil. For example, I will pick a Tesla, because Tesla is opposite to oil. If I'm going to invest globally, why would I pick a Tesla, for example? Because with Tesla, you know, they're focused on clean energy. Oil is crude oil and production and all of that. So rather than invest in oil, I'll just go and invest in Tesla. So I'll just put if I was going to buy a stock abroad, I will buy a stock like Tesla, for example, because people are going to be looking for alternative ways of getting energy, of energy generally. I mean, they will do oil, but they're going to start looking at alternative ways because of the costs that oil price movements have cost their business. So essentially, you know, I would look at investing in a stock like Tesla. Hi guys. Hi Polake. Hi Naira Branch. Hi Toyosi. Nice to see you guys. So I would look for those kind of stocks. I would also look for stocks in the US that are defensive. So anything that has to do with food and beverage, I would look for that. I will not pick stocks that are likely to be affected by any. So I won't pick car companies, for example. That's just me personally, because how many people are going to be buying cars, with coronavirus and all the issues that there are. Absolutely, I think you're right. I think healthcare and pharmacy space, absolutely things to consider. I definitely think that, again, I can't give you up. I'm giving you off of the cuff thoughts in my head. I'm going to just say, before you invest in any stock, please do your homework. But definitely, I think healthcare and pharmacy are definitely areas that are going to have a lot more focus in the next couple of weeks. People are going to want to invest in them. Exactly. Okay, so Mo has given us some tips on what to invest in. I think because Mo is an avid investor in the US, so she mentioned Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft because they're sitting on cash. They have good products and long-term growth. Absolutely. So I think, guys, before you invest in any global stock, please do your homework. I cannot reiterate it enough. Please do your homework and be very sure. Pick defensive stocks. Look at the trend. You can send me some if you have any questions on which global stocks to buy. Send me an email. Send me a DM. We can talk about it offline, and I will try and link people that can assist you with that information. You know what, Moji? I'm going to do a US stock buying session with Mo in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. So we'll definitely do a session on that. Mo, maybe we can do it next week, actually, so people can take advantage of this dip. We'll do one with Mo next week, so maybe we can take advantage of this dip. But Mo and I will come up with something. So again, as a business, what would I suggest for you as a business? As a business, I would say focus on your core business. This is not the time to try white elephant projects. This is not the time to spend money that you do not have. Please be very, very careful. Focus on your core business at this point in time. Keep cash. Cash is king. As much as possible, focus on turnover and not focus on turnover and not as much and not profit. And I'll tell you why focus on turnover. Because if you're focused on profit, what you're going to end up with is you're going to try and get a very high profit margin, but because people's purchasing power is shrinking, they won't buy as much. What you want to focus on is keep your turnover steady while taking a little bit of a hit on your margins. Sorry, Walter has a question for me. So Walter is asking about those that bought. Walter, I'm proud of you. I bought last week. I bought yesterday. I bought yesterday. Unfortunately, I would say I'm going to have to wait it out. I personally, I'm going to try and buy more shares either tomorrow or Monday because I need to average down my cost. My cost is still significantly massively high, so I'm going to have to try and average down my cost. But I'm in for the long haul. I'm looking at my stocks that I've bought. I'm looking at them in a 6 to 12 month horizon. I'm not in any hurry. I can't be in a hurry. I'm not going to sell anything at this point in time. So if you've already bought shares like me, please guys, just stay where you are. There's no point selling. You already lost money. Just stay where you are. I don't think there's any need to sell your shares. Just stay where you are. So as I was talking about, for businesses, as a business owner, keep cash king. This is not the time to get excited about, I want to do a new project. Focus on turnover. Encourage people to buy. Find ways to get people to buy. At this point in time, any business owner, just make sure you're selling. Don't forget about making money. Let me rephrase that. Forget about making excessive profit. Focus on sales. Sales. Because remember, you already have assets that you have incurred cost on. You may have a bank loan that you need to pay. Now you already have things that you have staff that you have to pay. You already have a cost. Some of it is fixed. You need to cover your fixed cost at the minimum. So keep your eye on just selling at this point, and just keep selling your products. Don't try too hard to make a huge margin on your products. I think that's very key. Also for businesses, I would advise that, particularly if you're in businesses like tourism and any tourism related business or aviation, I don't think I have much good news for you guys. It's going to be a very tough season. I may advise that you let people You may probably see things like job cuts in those sectors. You may see you may see laying people off. It's all going to happen. Remember, because we still have Brexit coming on. Coronavirus is still also ongoing. There's just so many layers of issues for the tourism industry. So I think that an aviation, I think it's going to be it's going to be a very long haul for the aviation and tourism industry, guys. I wish I don't have any good news for you. Manufacturing as well is going to definitely be a bit tight for the manufacturing industry as well, because obviously some products will not be available for production, and that may mean that you may have to shut down production as well as you know, lay people off. So it's going to be we're in for a very, I'm telling you guys, the next 2 quarters of the year are going to definitely be very challenging for business owners. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a time to save as much and look for deals. Look for deals and save, because people are not selling. So if you want to buy anything, price it. If you want to pay for it, buy a service, price it. Honestly, I think the sports industry will be fine. I think the sports industry will be fine. I mean, football matches are being cancelled and all that. But in terms of personal health and sports and all that, people are going to be, you know, I guess they may not mind getting involved in activities. I think my only concern is they'll be worried about human contact. So if anyone, if you know, that's, I think, the challenge in the sports industry, particularly things like training and stuff like that. People are going to be afraid to you know, they're going to be afraid to be in contact with other people. I think that they may also have some challenges as well, the sports industry guys. So somebody asked, so Walter gave me a tip, because one of the things I was going to ask before my colleagues was, do they think that there was going to be more selling in the market? And Walter said he thinks the market goes down further. I don't disagree with him, and I'll tell you why. Because one of the reasons why we're also seeing this FX trend, I forgot to mention, is that, remember, 2015 is still very fresh in our memory. The Naira went from 200 to $1 to 500 in $1 within the space of about 60 days. So people are still very, very wary of that happening. The wound is very fresh. So because of that, people are generally, the offshore investors are not going to wait for that situation to happen. They're going to try and sell all their shares and get out. They will come back, but they will get out first. Nigerian Euro bonds are a good buy if you can find them. They're definitely a good buy if you can find them, but I heard yields are going up, so you may not be able to get any Euro bonds. But I heard today that yields are increasing massively, so that may definitely affect supply. So I'm not quite sure we'll be able to get stuff to buy at this point in time. So again, that's an issue that we're going to face. So if you find any Euro bond to buy, by all means, please buy. But I honestly do not think that we're going to, you know, you'll be able to get some supply. So I think that, so back to what I was saying about that. So I think the stock market is definitely going to go down some more. I think we're going to probably see it go down tomorrow, maybe Monday. Absolutely. Oshio Danesi, yes, please. I think you should buy those. Any bank that is offering you an Eurobond fund, buy. I think there's definitely some opportunity there. I mentioned it earlier. You probably missed it. I mentioned it there. I think you should definitely buy. You can get some Eurobonds. Buy any dollar-denominated asset. If you have dollars, buy. Exactly. Day 2. Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. The coronavirus is going to, the impact will be felt. I mentioned that earlier. It's going to be, we'll probably see recovery in Q3 or Q4 if we're lucky. Q3 or Q4. But definitely it's going to be a bumpy ride ahead. Somebody had asked me that, will the rates come back down? Guys, I don't know. Let me be honest with you. I think to an extent, there may be some tacit devaluation, and I use that word carefully, tacit. It's not going to, it may not be something the CBN will effect immediately, but I almost feel like there may be some sort. So I cannot promise you that the black market rate that you're seeing will come back down to 360. I can't. I'm being very honest. I said I'm not able to promise that it will come back to 360. I can't promise that. If oil price were to go up back today at to $60, absolutely 360 is possible. So if you ask me, will the rates come back down? Certain things need to happen. Oil price must at least be above 57 and close to $60. One, two, our reserves must go up again, right? Three, there must be a recovery in global stock markets. Now, in the absence, and four, the global economic growth rate must start to, global economy, the fourth thing is that global economy must start to improve. In the absence of any of these four things, it is very hard to say that the exchange rate will come back down to 360 or 358 levels. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure. I can't. Will it come down from 400? Yes. Will it come down to 360? I don't know. I can't promise that. I don't know. I don't know that it will come back to 360 again. But I do know that it may not stay at 400 for a long time. Let's just put it that way. It could be at 400, but in my view, it may not. But again, I'm loath to comment on exchange rate because there are too many moving parts. Because the CBN is saying that we want to keep a steady exchange rate regime. And if that is their promise, then, you know, I'm going to have to trust them. I have to trust them. Your view on Russia, we might see some recovery. Absolutely, exactly, day two. That's what I'm saying. If oil price does not go back up, we're in trouble. Exactly what I said. So, and that means that Saudi and Russia must come to the table. I don't know if you want to come to the table. From what I gathered from conversations, it feels like Saudi and Russia's disagreement is based on US and shale oil producers. So it's a lot of political and global issues ongoing in that oil price space. So that's, and again, that needs to be resolved. Will oil price come back up again? Hopefully it comes back up. I can't say. It depends, as Aditi said, it depends on if Russia and Saudi come to the table and have an honest and frank discussion. In the absence of that, we're in for a bumpy road. I mean, they both threatened that, oh, I can survive for 10 years. Saudi said I produce at $280 a barrel. They're fine. So guys, we can't really, and again, the reason why I'm not focusing on Russia and Saudi is because I can't control those things, guys. We really can't. We're tiny Nigeria is not able to control those two guys. We don't have this ammo, we don't have the funds, we don't have the economic growth to defend, to fight those two people, those two countries. So in the absence of those things happening, we need to focus on ourselves. What can we do? We can focus all we want on global issues, but that doesn't solve our problems. We need to attack what we can control. And those are the things I've shared with you. You can control your investment. You can control your response. You can't control anything else. You can't control anything else. Exactly. So honestly, let's focus on what we can control, which is the things I've shared with you. These are the things that we can control. So just to summarize, because I know that we're almost reaching an hour. As I mentioned to you guys, don't be afraid. One, two, it will pass. It has passed many years ago. It will pass. This is my third experience of market downturn. I was fortunate to experience in 2008, and that was much worse from the stock market perspective. It has happened again in 2015 for Nigeria and also partly for the global economy. It's happening again in 2020 due to coronavirus. And those times I've mentioned, we have always recovered. So we will definitely recover. Nothing lasts forever. We'll recover. We may not recover in 6 months, but in 12 to 24 months, there will be some recovery and what I will call a new normal. A new normal means things may not be where they were before, but things will achieve a new level of equilibrium and of some level of normalcy. That would happen. So do not be afraid. Things will turn. Secondly, take opportunistic risks. Don't sit on the fence and be afraid and twiddle your thumbs. Fortune favors the brave. You would lose some money, but hopefully you will make more money than others, which is why I gave you those tips that I gave you. Guys, people that invested in stock markets when they were down, property foreclosures, smiled throughout when the market rebounded. You can check the stats, it's there. So look for opportunities. 3, manage your spending. Focus on essential. This is not a time to get careless. You can also enjoy yourself, by the way, because if airline prices are dropping, you can definitely take a bit more holiday. But be careful, don't go and go to coronavirus region. I'm not there, but but obviously you can definitely take those opportunities and travel. And lastly, would exchange rates rebound? As I mentioned earlier, given those four criteria I listed, if all four are to happen, then the exchange rate will come back to 360 levels. But if those four things don't happen, it's likely that we are moving into a new era of exchange rates, which means that we could see the rate from 400 shift to 370, 380, or we could see and the rates move to 370, or it could move beyond 400. But again, the CBN continues to tell us that they are committed to a stable exchange rate regime. So I have to trust them, I have to believe them. And as I already mentioned, you can buy foreign exchange at the official rate if you're using it for a CBN approved transaction. Like I mentioned, even your school fees, pocket money can absolutely be sourced from the CBN. So don't be afraid, right? Again, I love what Mo has said. Sometimes God creates opportunities. Let's now take it spiritually. God creates opportunities for people to make money from it. So if you are brave, if you take the risk, you can come out of this entire experience massively rich. I promise you, people are going to be rich in this situation. Not everybody's going to lose money. Some people are going to come out of this place and they'll be very rich. So you need to be clear on what it is that you want to do. Exactly. There will be a wealth redistribution. So some of my friends I know are already positioned for foreclosure. So you guys don't be deceived. They are positioned for foreclosure in their countries. So if you're afraid, they will take the opportunity and they will move and they will make money. Guys, this whole thing we're seeing, barring any global crisis again, like a coronavirus, it will rebound in 12 to 24 months, and markets are going to, rebound and money will be made again. So guys, go for it. Be brave. Don't be afraid. You only, be brave. Like I said, this is my third one I'm seeing, and each time these trends repeat themselves. There's nothing new here, guys. Don't be afraid. Go for it. Now, somebody asked me, should they buy Euro bonds? And I mentioned that if you find Euro bonds to buy it, but it's unlikely you find Euro bonds to buy. You'll definitely be buying Euro bonds at a high price, so be careful. And guys, that's the end of this. I hope you've gotten a lot of insight on it. I'm going to try and keep this on my story permanently so you can access it. And anytime you want to listen to what I said. So guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm truly, truly grateful. I'm looking forward to another Insta Live with you. I'm going to be bringing Mo next week. She's going to talk a bit about Mo and I will agree on what we'll talk about, because we've talked a lot about some certain things, but definitely we'll talk about the US stock market. You can take opportunities in it, and also foreclosure. Absolutely, yeah. Mo has mentioned about foreclosure, so Mo will talk about it next week with the guys. Guys, stay tuned. Next week we're talking about foreclosures and US stock markets. You don't want to miss this. Money to be made, guys. Money to be made. People should pay for this information, but Mo and I are giving it to you guys for free, right, Mo? So money to be made, guys. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm so happy that you tuned in. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, come into my DM and I'll be happy to answer your questions as well. All right? Take care, guys. Have a lovely Thursday. Bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Next week, Mo, they can't wait to. The money here, I remember I said it. Billionaire series, we're going to be rich next year. Billionaire series, we are going to definitely be rich. Okay? So don't be afraid, right? This is where billionaires are made, guys. You can't even afford to be afraid. We have to make it. Moji, no problem. I'm going to be offering you insight. Oh, no problem. Rollies, I'm going to put it on my story so you can listen to the beginning part if you want to. Thanks, Flaky. Thanks, Rolly. Thanks, Moji. Thanks, Mo, for the insights. Walter, thank you for the insights as well. Guys, thank you so much. Next week, I won't forget, I promise, next week, Mo and I I will post it on my page. Mo and I are coming to talk to you guys next week. Don't worry about it. Mo has abundant information. Don't worry, we'll make it work. We'll make it work, guys. Falaka is not playing. She said, I want to be rich. Yes, yes. Bye, guys.